Oh, right, Red Faction. Guess what? It's a YouTube video. Yep, should have guessed that by now. The update that's coming for Destiny later today, in about an hour and a half, Renegades will launch. So we'll be live on Twitch because my multi-stream setup decided to shit the bed. So we'll just be live on Twitch because apparently I think I need to run it only on one thing. I'll be sure to put the VOD over later when I'm done streaming, which will be streaming from about 11 to 2 over the Purple Faction. So jump on over there. But let's read what we have. This is going to be long patch notes. So I thought, you know what? Best to do it here. Portal drops. The green engrams will now use the highest stack among your fire team, rather than your own personal stack. If you aren't the highest in the fire team, any extras are reallocated from other activities in the portal. Priority single bonus drops over stacks of 2 or 3. When this happens, you'll see one or more reallocated bonus drop notification. Any new activities in the portal, not just legacy activities, will have a new tag on it. Fix an issue where lower tier portal activities might have longer revive timers than intended. Fix an issue where the match made limited revives was not consistent with private customizable activities. Increase the amount of starting revive tokens for some difficulties in the derealized exotic mission. Fix an issue with expeditions where players were getting soft locked at the end of the activity. Fix an issue where changing the fire team leader's power below a difficulty tiered requirement let you launch the activity but immediately encounter a honeydew error. It will now indicate a launch error. Remove limited revives from extra difficulty conquests that did not have champions present to replenish them. Updated pro versions of exotic missions so they can now drop their associated exotics, catalysts, and intrinsics. Interesting. Fiction issue where sometimes players would respawn outside of the fighting pit in the Kel's Fall Pinnacle up. Crucible reward ranks will not reset at Season 28. The reward multiplier will carry over. Fix an issue where the reward preview did not calculate the multiplier from competitive and Iron Banner properly. Fix an issue where some Iron Banner ornaments were intentionally not contributing to the reward score. Yeah. Adjusted score thresholds for power under 400 and a performance grade of B plus or above. Gear tier rewards now scale with rank, sub ranks. Example: B plus at power 2 use tier 2, while B plus at 2 use tier 3. So B plus at 550 should yield tier 5, maybe. I mean, you should be getting tier 5s if you're at 550 anyways. And none of the others. Adjusted the trials passage multiplier to 2% per win, plus 1 per win streak. Previously was 3% per win streak. Fix an issue where legend difficulty missions in the final shave would show incorrect power levels. Now fix an issue where cooperative difficulty scaling and related settings were incorrect in the mission version of the Corrupted Strike. Fixed usual players could get stuck in the ogre in some versions of the Corrupted Strike. Fixed an issue where players could duplicate taken essence when depositing in the Immunity Strike. Raids and dungeons. Update the revive token behavior in the Desperate Perpetual to prevent multiple players from being revived with a single remaining token. Fix an issue where yep. All that stuff, don't care about it. Vault added 300 vault slots. Revamp the vault filtering. So yes, it's actually more like a vault, and you can filter and find you want. Seasonal hub updates. Seasonal hub and its entry point in the portal have been updated with new features and layouts. Orders have been added. Vanguard alerts have been added. They'll be available next week. Activity will show if a challenge is available by displaying the challenge icon. Seasonal challenges have been removed because of all this. Director map, portal launch activity, Renegade's destination entry point has been added to the portal. The timeline, Edge of Fate, and the tower locations of the portal have been updated. The Kepler destination from Edge of Fate has been moved to the timeline. So now if you want to go to Kepler for any reason, you have to go to the timeline. Introduce the icon and tooltip next to the Zval's location map to quickly understand when rewards are claimable. Okay. HUD stuff orders have replaced bounties in the nav mode tracker. In-game notices and alerts will no longer play during cinematics. Oh, thank God. Now suppressor grenades will no longer suppress the user, but have increased the detonation damage. Spike grenades can now attach. All these have been changed. Yes, because if you had a problem seeing invisible people in Crucible before, lightning grenades now do this. Flashbangs no longer blind the user. Strand thrillings that lose their target before impact will land and look for another combatant instead of exploding. That is really good. Hunters, you got buffed like crazy. We're not going to talk about you. Warlocks, Daybreak now does 20% more damage to combatants at base and projectiles scorched by default. So now Daybreak only adds the melee and the 5% bonus. Nova Warp. Charging the primary attack now pulls enemies towards the Warlock. Increase the primary attack damage versus combatants by 15%. Dark Blink now releases weakened Seekers. And Vortex Super now rapidly pull enemies towards it during its lifetime. Storm Trance, the jolt has been increased and the max sustained damage bonus has been increased. Chaos Reaches got buffed. Ionic Sentry no longer blinds the user, and Lightning Surge only on Prismatic reduced damage against players by 16%. That means you can still use it on the baseline version with no problem. Winter's Wrath does more damage. That means Wrath Weavers get ready. Thrall's Pulse. So if you want to freeze a player, they have to be within 5 meters of you, but anyone from 5 to 8 meters will now be slowed. Needle Storm prioritizes bosses, mini-boss, and champions over other enemies. Perfect. Warlocks, we can now cast our rifts while moving roughly at half speed, and the radius is about 5 meters. So, basically what this is saying, if the enemy is near you or within radius of your rift, they will be frozen. Anyone past your rift will just be slowed. Empower Rift increased the melee and grenade recharge while standing in the rift by 20%. In Healing Rift, because of its increased radius, they reduced reeling hit of 10%. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Global updates, all this stuff. Artifact, new gear bonus. The bonus damage for new gear weapons is now 5%. All exotics will count as new gear. Ammo system stuff, PvP. Now, when there are dropped ammo bricks, they'll last for about a minute. So just 30 seconds, which, okay. Sidearms alter the fire animation to hide the reticle for a short duration. Submachine guns stability on controllers up 10%. Pulse rifles, rapid fire frames got a buff. Snipers reduce flinch from players. No stuff on exotics. Okay. Releasing the trigger after the projectile now pulls 12 rounds into the magazine from reserve. So when you get that little kickback, release the trigger, you'll get 12 rounds. Reduce the cooldown on the poison burst and Striga final blows from 4 seconds to 2 seconds. A lot of other stuff here. Rampage now only lose one stack after the timer, so as long as you can keep the kills up, you can keep it up, and if you don't, you only lose one stack instead of losing the entire thing. So it's like you were able to get to 3, and then it's like, oh, I'm not able to get kills, well, now you only lose one stack. Alright, so for Warlocks, now spawns additional Seekers on the Scatter Grenade kill, charge Scatter Grenade ability, faster projectile speed. So yes, this has happened now. Storm Dancer's Brace. While Storm Dancer's equipped, now grant Bolt Charge for arc ability hits when amplified. Storm Change damage bonus now builds on hits instead of kills, increase the maximum count to count. So now you need 30 hits to cap. The bonus hasn't been changed. It's just you just need those 30 hits. New rewards will drop at 300 power or higher to catch all players up with a toxic supply drop, even if they didn't claim it when it was available. Seasonal power above 200 will no longer reset with Renegades. Players will still maintain the current power level with that. Unstable cores have been removed. Infusion will continue to use enhancement cores and Glimmer. Added, players may now apply any owned exotic ornament of the same class and slot to their exotic armors and PvE activities. Note, the armor will still show their base aesthetic and PvP activities to avoid confusion in combat. And yeah, that is, this being added, and I think this is good, especially with this, because I'm sorry, I don't like how Storm Dancer's Brace looks. I'd rather have it look something else. I really wish they would do a thing where we could put, legendary armor on some of our exotics instead of just the ones you already own, but hey, it's a start. I think I'm currently running Apotheosis Verse, which just works. I mean, like, I really don't think there's a ornament I would throw on there. Maybe I make it look like Nezarec, but in PvP that wouldn't really make much of a difference. Yeah, so Doom Marchers also got buffed. Each chain that you do now gives you 2 bolt charge. Glaive melees can now also trigger the chain. So great, that would be fun to deal with. Glaives, yay. Also remember the artifact, and this is something that I want to kind of talk about real quick. I'm going to be doing Overload Pulse Rifle, Barrier Sniper, and with having Deterministic Chaos, I already have that. I don't have an Unstoppable because if I use a Kinetic, I already get that anyways. Because multiple hits from a kinetic weapon will cause a Thane, and shooting the Thane will make an unstopped champ stop. So I'm very interested in that. Hour 15 before Renegades drops. I will probably be live around that time once I know for a fact that it works. So with that being said, Red Faction, I hope you all have a good one, and I'll see you in a bit.